Okay, so if you couldn't tell from the intro, that was me machining up these little strap clamps. So before we dive into the time lapse of me machining it, let me just talk about the design really quick. The material I found in my scrap bin, I'm assuming I got this at Industrial Metal Supply, and it was perfectly sized for some small little clamps. Now obviously I can also use these for machining, but I figured I really wanted to have a good soldering and gluing jig, which is what this is. So having a clamp of this size allows me to get into most situations and most applications. There are times where I wish I had longer ones and I had shorter ones, but I figured, you know what, something is better than nothing. I might come up with some other designs in the near future. Now that being said, when it came to the design of this, I kept it very simple. I made the end pointed, also made it tapered. And there is a little bit of a step here because I just used a flat end mill to create the taper, but I figured, you know what, I don't need this to look perfect. These are going to be work tools. I did decide to round the back end though a little bit, just purely for cosmetic sake. And because I don't have any 1/8 inch end mills kicking around right now, and they're actually very easy to break on my mill, I just decided to make the slot 0.2 inches wide with a 3/16 end mill. And that's a nice fit here for an 832 bolt. Now what I'm thinking I am going to do is I am going to get a washer to put on there just so that way the head doesn't dig into the soft aluminum over time. I am debating getting these anodized. I may or may not. It's more for corrosion reasons because flux is pretty nasty and I don't want them to get all dirty and grody from the flux contaminating it, but we'll see. Now let's jump over to the machining video real quick, show that, and then we'll come back and talk about these a little more. So as you could tell from the machining video, it was a relatively simple process. The parts were just pinched like this. Both ends got machined, the slot got cut, and the hole drilled. Now, being I don't have the right size collet to hold the appropriate drill bit to drill this for tapping, I just drilled it with an 1/8 inch bit and then just came along and reamed it out with the proper drill bit. And then being that my tapping head, I don't have the appropriate collet for it at the moment, I just came along and manually tapped these for the little jack screw in the back. Now for most applications with this, I'm probably going to be using it like this, where I just use a piece of scrap material as a shim for the material. But for taller objects, I do have the jack screw, so when it's being held down like this, I can lower it up and down, and odds are, to prevent marring the plate, I would just put a piece of shim stock there just to hold it together. Like I said, this is more of a soldering and gluing jig than an actual machining one, so I don't need to hold against crazy forces. Now when these were done, I did also come along and throw them into my rotary tumbler overnight, just because there were some burrs on here and I really didn't feel like deburring the stack of them by hand. So the only issue I ran into was the media was about the size of the slot, so a couple of pieces got stuck in there, but thankfully that was pretty easy to break out, and that's honestly something I had a feeling might happen, but oh well. No harm, no foul in the end. Now I'm debating getting all these components anodized at some point in the future. We'll see if I do that or not, but already this fixture has come in handy for a small soldering project I'm working on, so I'm definitely glad I made it. Now, here's a good example of what you can do with materials from the scrap bin. So I hope you found this episode of Make It with Calvin interesting, and keep your eyes out because I think this will be making an appearance in some upcoming videos. See you here next time, and have a good one.